Good morning and welcome to Dr. Lamba's Awakening Calls Better Thyself new episode. We have been talking about the people who are good at everything, the people who have magnetic quality, the people who can make you stand still as if you have been made mistakes, people who influence you so much that you want to be like them when you cannot be. And in our last episode, we had given you some suggestions, and we continue with the same. We had discussed how to do it, and now we proceed to the next step. And if you follow these suggestions, we shall continue this episode next week as well, so that these 3 episodes become one for you. First of all, the most important thing I would like to mention is that don't be worried about success. Success is not enough. People who say that they have succeeded have in fact not succeeded. And real success, if they think is enough, is not because that only increases the pressure. As soon as you achieve something, set another goal. Achievement of a goal should mean the beginning of another challenge. As a matter of fact, success is never-ending process. It's a step going up the ladder. You go up one ladder, then you stop. Take the second step, stop. Take the third step, evaluate, go up and keep on going up. And there's no end. Now let me be very frank with you. A ladder might come to an end, but success has no end, and the people who think that they have succeeded have in fact died intelligently, emotionally, psychologically, if not physically. And when you are thinking that success is not enough, the second part is also equally important. Don't get crushed by success. People think, well, they have succeeded. And then when they think that, wow, how great they are, they have been successful, as a matter of fact, they are inviting failure. I always say to my motivational classes, success can become a catalyst for failure. This increases your chance of failure because you become so confident and falsely confident. Most of the people cannot handle success, cannot handle authority, cannot handle any privilege. It destroys them. It makes them lazy. When they get what they want, they stop doing the very things that they got them there. You see, there is a external noise, and the external noise of success becomes almost too intense for you to bear. So remain away from the external voice, and no external voice should push you more hard than your internal noise. You've got to differentiate between the external noise and the internal noise, and when you do that, you will be happy. And then, we are in the habit of blaming others, blaming circumstances, blaming destiny, blaming fate. Own up when you screw up. Implementing extremes ownership requires checking your ego and operating with the help of the ego, but in an attitude of humility. When you admit mistake, taking ownership for the mistake, you would automatically develop a plan to overcome the challenges that are integral to any successful plan. You see, let's be very clear. People tell you, prepare a foolproof plan. There's never a foolproof plan. Shakespeare is very right when he says in Hamlet that there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamed of in your philosophy. Things can happen which you didn't even imagine. So there's never a foolproof plan. And if something fails, you should be man enough You should have the courage enough to admit that you are the man responsible for goofing up. Don't try to lay the blame on a colleague or on the fate. Most often than not, you always blame the subordinate, and that's the worst thing you can do. You are creating a chasm between you and your subordinate who can be your biggest sport. So no blame, no deception, no false ideas, no illusion. Just the cold, hard truth. When you mess up, say yes, you have messed up. Own it. And not only own your own fault, but also own the faults of your team. When you have this extreme ownership, then you have extreme control and extreme freedom. During my job, either with the prime ministers or as a CEO of the companies, never said that he's at fault or he's at fault. The buck stops here. I'm the person at fault. Okay, I've goofed up. I'll set it right. Period. No discussions, no laying the blames. And then, don't brag about your work. Let your work speak for itself. Well done is well said. If you do a job well, people will know that you have done a job well. They will not like to cross-question you. Deep work, don't forget, is very rare. And it has a high value. And when a thing is rare and of high value like a yellow diamond, you don't have to talk about it. People will talk about it. Give people a chance to talk about it. And another thing, no real good work is a copy work. Your good work should be non-replicable. Even you should not be able to replicate it. It should be so good. I give talks and lectures, and when I come home, people tell me this is what I talked. And I'm amazed that I could talk that way. I could write that way. Once I give a speech, I'll never repeat it because I can't repeat it. It's not replicable. Shallow work, on the other side, which you talk about, is common, is low value, and is replicable. Anybody can do it. So if a job is of such a nature that anybody could do it, why should you be given the credit for that? Talking about your work is shallow. And replicable work has low value. So, don't talk about your work. Talk about other things. Let the work speak for itself. Deep work is always so good that it cannot be ignored. And then, always work on your mental strength, on your courage, on your conviction, on your ideas. Let your ideas be 1,000 years ahead of time. I still remember when I was a BA student, my teacher said, Dr. Lamba, at that time it was not Dr. Lamba, he said Raja. That's my first name. You are born 500 years before your time. And it's true. Mental resilience is the most critical trait of a world-class performance. Resilience. It should be nurtured. And it's nurtured earlier by the training, by the parents, by the teachers. And then a time comes when you have to do it yourself. I personally am always looking for ways to become more psychological impregnable, that others cannot impact me. I'll listen to them. And if need is there, I'll adopt them. Not adopt them, but adapt them according to my need. But I will not let them influence my thought. My thought, my mental strength is my mental strength. And I work on that. When uncomfortable, the instinct is to avoid the discomfort. in a way that it becomes a part of your psyche. Don't run away, adopt it. Even that discomfort should be adopted. And you would find that you're a better human being and more successful. The better you can perform under pressure, the further you'll go than anyone else. Let your mind go and then let the body follow. What happens normally is we let the body go and then mind follows that. No. I'll give you an interesting example. I was living in Mississauga. I came and visited in Israel. I liked the place. I simply went in. My mind said, what a place to live in. I went in and purchased the house. And in 1 hour, we decided to buy the house. That's all. We looked at 4 houses and bought one. So, I did not let my body take ahead of me. People would think at home, should we buy it? Should we go there? No. Go where your mind tells you to go. And what happens is, wherever you go, when the mind, you follow it, your life would be great because your thoughts are much more ahead of you. Your physical body always follows. And then, your biggest asset is your confidence. It's your confidence which determines the size of the goals and how likely you are to achieve the goal. Plus, in case you cannot achieve the goal, would you be able to bounce back from the failure? You see, running a marathon, it's common fashion nowadays, is physical, but no, it's much more mental. A person's ability to run the marathon is a reflection of the level of confidence than their actual ability. They have made themselves think that they'll win, and they win. So it's your mental confidence, your integrity, your approach. And if you're not confident, you'll never be in the first place. Be sure about that. Forget about it. When you're confident, you do not care how many times you fail. They are just, as I said, steps to a ladder. And the steps of a ladder don't fail. They make you go higher and higher up. And it doesn't matter how much fate and destiny and circumstances are against you. Nothing. Nothing matters. It's your confidence which matters. And then, one thing, your companions. Surround yourself with the people who remind you of the future, not of the past. You know, when we think, well, these are our relations, these were our friends, you will have a hard time progressing because they drag you down. You cannot imagine how high you can fly. Do you know? Sparrows and the crows don't fly very high. But vultures and hawks most of all, fly very, very high. They fly alone. They fly where their mind goes. And that's why try to surround yourself with people who think of the future, not of the past. Let the past bury its dead. Look to the shining future. Surrounding yourself with the people you want to be like. The first thing I told you, try to imitate, try to copy, allows you to start on a fresh slate. You are no longer defined by your past, but you are defined by the future you are creating. Now here is a creativity. You are creating a future. And if you are creating a future, why should you think of the past? Forget about it. So, there's a psychological curve, we call it Pygmalion effect. The effect of those around you in large measure determines how well you perform. If you are along with your old friends, I don't say forget them, mix with them. But don't let them impact you because they'll be reminding you of what you were and not what you can be or shall be. So what you were and what you shall be, they are two different ends of a river. From one river, what you are, you have to go to the other bank. what you shall be. And the past would be like weeds which will twist around your ankles and the feet and not let you go to the other side. So, other thing, let things go, but never forget. You might have remember my saying at one place, I never believe in forgive and forget, because forgetting means you are letting go of the bad past experience. And that experience is a part of your psyche, your thinking, your pattern of life. Unstoppable means carrying no emotional baggage, and if you forget, you are carrying baggage because in your heart. Forgetting is okay, ignoring, but not forgetting. So you will need to immediately ignore and move on. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. So don't forgive. It doesn't mean that you have to do business with others who have wronged you, because you forget it. The wrong done to you, you will not be identified to the person, identify the person who is a wrongdoer. So don't ever forget. And then have clear goals. Be fixed on healthy, long-term goals. It's good to be fixed on short-term goals temporarily. But if the short-term goals you are thinking about, they should be part of the long-term goal. They should not be in isolation. They should not be separate by themselves. So, the most motivating goals are clearly defined and the time bound. They are not limitless. Your time on this world is limited. So, each work has to be limited. So, your goals can either be because of your behavior or the outcome you are seeking. So one thing is, I'm going to do this thing, this day. Second, I'm going to get this recognition by this date. Say, suppose you're a writer, you say, okay, I'll write 500 words per day. Aim to be published in the New York Times. Mine was when CNN said, I'm 1 in a million. Fine, that's what I wanted to be. And now I'm trying to be 1 in a billion. Why not? So for most people, behaviorally focused goals are better and more motivating. So when you crave the results, work is irrelevant because it becomes a necessary to your growth. And then the last thing which I'll tell today in this episode, respond immediately rather than analyzing or stalling. You know, there was a Greek hero, Cato, a philosopher, hero, fighter. He said, he who hesitates is lost. So don't start, you have to do something, start doing it. People who start analyzing what will happen, if I do this, what will happen, what are the directions, what are the options, they are either idiots or just laborers. They are not creators. They do not create a spark. I want you to be full of spark. Just do it. And you will find anticipating of an event is more extreme than the event itself. You have to go somewhere. Anticipation of going would be much more important. And train yourself. It's a training, it's a mental training to do immediately what you feel you should do. Stop questioning yourself. Can I do it? Do I have the health? Do I have the money? Do I have the weather? Would I be able to get people? No, do it. If a question comes from the God or from yourself, just act. Act right now. You will figure out that what you do often, when you have done it, that you were capable. And you were just, if you had been thinking about what to do or not to do, like Hamlet, to be or not to be. No. Act in the living present. Until you take action, all thought is hypothetical. Things can happen, as I said earlier just now, which you have never imagined. So why think of that? Once you start acting, you become practical. So act immediately, without thought, without analysis. And this is the second part of what we had started last week. And we'll continue next week. And I'm sure if you follow this, you will become a man, a person, a woman, a man, who wherever you go shall leave a spark behind. And what a beautiful feeling that is. Share it. Enjoy it. Let you be the lightning rod. Thank you.